Hello guys, welcome to a new video on my channel. I am pretty excited because today we're gonna learn about some new features that came to the new SwiftUI version. First of all, I already created a project and as you can see we have a VStack with an image and a text. We're gonna continue to use that and we're gonna replace the icon. And if you're new and you wonder from where do I get the names from these icons, there is an app, SF Symbols app, that looks like this. And here you have a lot of icons for kind of everything. As you can see here, we have a plane and we're gonna use this airplane departure icon. We're gonna copy the name and just paste it over here. And we're gonna use a font and we're gonna give it a size of 50. Okay, so now we're gonna see the first feature that I will cover in this video. First, let's delete this text for now. And the new feature is that we can set foreground and background styles to the views. Basically, the styles support setting gradient colors and shadows, not only to images, but to all kind of views. In our case, we're gonna play with this image and let's say background, and we're gonna use this version, and here we're gonna use a rounded rectangle with a corner radius of 5. Nothing is visible right now. Let's use the background style, and here we can use a color, let's say green, and say gradient, and this will give us a very nice gradient. And as I said, we can apply shadows. We're gonna apply a shadow, and this will be an inner shadow with let's say the radius of 2. Okay, and I want to make this background bigger, so I will give it an inset of -15. So this is our logo. Let's also apply a foreground style, not foreground color, foreground style, and here we're gonna say white, and you can see that the icon turns white. And let's say a shadow, and this time we're gonna use a drop shadow with a radius of 3, and as you can see it looks pretty nice. And basically this is it for shape style extensions. You can play and add them to all sorts of views. You can tie them to different sensors and move the shadow and so on, but in a nutshell this is how you use them. Next, let's move on. Okay, let's continue building our screen. As I said, we're gonna build confirmation flight screen in an imaginary app. Next, we're gonna need a text like this, and we'll say confirm period. Here, as you can see, we need to offset this a little bit because of the inset. It's not looking so good, so let's say 40, like this. Let's give it a size of title. Next, we're gonna add some text. I already have some lorem ipsum generated, and I add it to a variable like this. And we're gonna use another text view, and we're gonna just paste the text over here, and now everything is shifted. Let's put this into a VStack. For some reason it doesn't refresh. Let me... Okay, it looks better now. Let me give it a padding of 20. And let's add an alignment. Let's leave it to center and a spacing of 20. Yeah, it looks better. And now we're gonna see another feature. We're gonna add a period confirmation and we're gonna use the multi-date picker that was introduced in the new version of SwiftUI. This will be really easy. So here inside this vstack, we're gonna use an hstack. And I did forget, we're gonna learn two new things now. We're gonna learn about the multi-date picker, and after we're gonna learn about half views. Now SwiftUI will give us the possibility to display sheets and give them a specific size. So let's continue and implement that. We'll use a text view. Let's give it the label select dates like this. Here we'll use a button. We'll use this implementation. Here goes the action. Let's say for now print open date picker. We're gonna use a text view with the label none. Let's add the spacer between these two. Okay, and when you will press on the button, sheet will open and we're gonna see our multi-picker. For that we need to declare a state variable to know when the sheet is open. We'll name this is confirmation sheet open. And this will be false by default. The error is gone. Here in the button action, we'll say is information sheet open toggle. And now let's jump and create our sheet. We need to use a binding and add it using the $sign. And inside, for now, let's say text hello. Let's try it out. So now, as you can see, it opens a sheet that goes up to the top. To set the sheet size, we need to use presentation details modifier like this, and we need to define a set of details. We have some predefined, but we also can give a specific height. Let's say we have medium and large. Let's hit save. And as you can see now, this is medium and we can drag it up to the top. For our use case, medium is enough. For the multi-date picker, we'll say state var. We need another state variable and we'll name this select the dates. Like this. This needs to be a set of date components. Like this. Now let's scroll down and we're gonna keep the label. We'll say vstack alignment leading spacing 10. We'll move this hello inside here. We'll say select dates. With a font size of title 2, and here we're gonna use a multi-date picker. And we're gonna use our select the dates variable, and this should be it for now. Let's see if it works. Now when we open, here we have our date. Let's also give it a padding. Let's say 10. Also let's remove this text because it doesn't look pretty good. As you can see, now when we open the date picker, we can select multiple dates. And we don't want that. We want to stop at 2. And also we don't want to select dates from the past in this scenario. And for that we can pass a second property to the multi-date picker, date range. Let's create that. We're gonna use a computed property. We'll say var bounds, and this is straight from the Apple documentation. So this will be a range of dates like this. And let's define the first date. For that we're gonna create a variable let start, and we're gonna use the calendar. So we'll say calendar.current.date from, and here we're gonna use a date component like this, and time zone will be current year 2022, month 06, and the day of this recording 25. This is the start date. Let me also close this and let me paste it and declare the end value. And the month here will be 12 and 31. Let's force unwrap this, and we'll return a range from start until the last day of the year. Hopefully this is good. And we'll send these bounds to the multi-date picker by the prop in like this. And let's try it out. For some reason it doesn't work. Oh well, it seems something on the preview, because on the simulator it works fine. So we can select the last date in 31. And now, because this works, we will want to put the dates over here to see what we selected. And we also want to auto close the sheet. So to do that, we're gonna use an onChange modifier, and we're gonna watch for the selected dates. We're gonna receive these selected dates here as a new value, and we want to select only 2 dates. So we'll say new value dot capacity greater than 1. Then we want to do stuff. First of all, here we're gonna call a function to extract the dates from the set. So you know that a set is a collection of dates similar to an array, but it doesn't have an order, is not sorted, and because of that we need to do some manipulation to display the correct dates in the correct order. First, let's auto close the sheet. So let's say is confirmation sheet open dot toggle. This will close the sheet. We won't test it because for sure that will work. We'll scroll up, and here we're gonna define a function. We'll say func, and we'll name this function getDateInterval, getDateInterval, like this. And this will receive the set of dates, say dates of type set, and the set will contain date components. This will return a string, you will see. And now we will need to do some manipulation, and we'll say let dates array, because this will be an array of type date. To convert a set into an array, we'll say array, and we'll pass here the set. Then we can map over it to convert a date component into a date, and we'll say calendar.current.date from a date component, in our case the D. This will return dates, and we will force a wrap it because we know that this is there. And as I said before, in a set the values are not sorted. Now we have an array, we can sort it, and we'll say date 1 and date 2, and the rule of sorting is date 1 smaller than date 2. This will sort ascending. Now we have sorted the array, and if the dates array count is equal to 2, then we'll return a string, else we'll return none, like this. And to grab a value from an array, we'll use an index. So we'll say date array of 0, this is the first date, and then we'll say formatted, and we'll need to give the date format. We'll say date abbreviated, and we'll omit the time, and we'll do the same for the end date, and we should be fine now. We need to create a state variable to store the string and display it as a button label, and we'll say var selected interval, by default let's say none. We'll pass this to the text view here on the button, and here under the comment we'll say get selected date interval, and we'll pass the new value. Let's see, we'll hit refresh, and let's try and select 2 dates. It seems, let me stop and start the preview. Maybe this will fix the issue with not showing the dates. Yes, this fixed the issue with the disabled dates. As you can see now, I cannot select dates in the past. So I will select 26 and go into the next month and say 31. We have the selected interval in the correct order. Everything went well. We needed to do some processing, but I hope this wasn't too hard to understand. If it was hard, please let me know in the comments. Maybe I can help you understand it better. Next, we're gonna take a look at another new feature, the multi-state toggle. We're gonna create 3 states and 4 toggles. You will see why. One of the toggles will be the master toggle. For that, let's create the states. State var toggle 1 false. All of these are booleans, so let's paste them. Let's say toggle 2, toggle 3. Okay, let's scroll down, and outside of the h tag we'll say toggle title and is on. The title, I agree to terms 1, and here we'll pass the toggle 1, and we'll copy this 2 more times. 2, 3, this is 2 and 3. Okay, let me just hit save. For some reason the preview is stuck. It doesn't refresh, only if you toggle with it. As you can see, now the toggles appeared and I can turn them on and off. And now comes the new feature. We can have a 4th toggle that will control everything. This toggle will receive an array, and in this array we'll have all the 3 values, like this, 2 and 1. Let's also change the label. I agree to all. Okay, toggle on and off the canvas. Yeah, and now as you can see, everything is controlled by the fourth one. And if we make them all true, also the fourth one it's toggled on. If we disable one, it's off. So this is the multi-state toggle. It's pretty handy in some situations. And now we are close to the end of the video, but I still have two features to show you. The first one, it's related to variable SF symbols that are brought to us by SF Symbols 4. So besides a lot of new icons, SF Symbols 4 also introduces variable symbols. What does this mean? This means you can now set the color of the symbols dynamically as a percentage, and you can also animate it. And we're gonna do a short example of that. First, I will remove some of the lorem ipsum text because it's a little bit too much and we don't have enough space. Let me just remove this part. We should be fine now. Not all the icons are variable, so let's take a look at them. Let me bring up the SF Symbols app. Okay, and here we have a category variable. So these are the icons that can have a variable color. Let's see an example over here. And as you can see, all of them change if we move this slider. Okay, for our purpose, move this down over here. So we have three confirmations. So we're gonna use an icon with three dots. Maybe we can use this. Let me just copy the name, put this down. And here I will say image, system name. Well, I will close this canvas and reload and bring up the simulator because it doesn't work. Okay, let's add some font. Let's say system size of 50. Let's see how it looks. It's visible enough. And now we have this sign fully colored. And what I want to do is whenever you click here a toggle, one of these dots will be colored, the rest will be grayed out. And when you enable all of them, you will have all of them colored. For that, I will create a state variable. And I will say state var, and I will name this status. This will be a double, and by default it will be 0. Okay, and in order to hook it to the system image, we have another property called variable value. This will receive the double. And now if we refresh, all of the dots should be grayed out, as you can see now. To handle the change of the toggles, we're gonna hook to another onChange, and we'll say onChange like this. And here we'll pass an array, and we'll say toggle 1, toggle 2, and toggle 3, like this. And here we'll receive a new value. That's an array of the 3 values. You will see this will be pretty handy. So first, here we're gonna reset every time the status to 0. And in order to upgrade the percentage, we're gonna iterate over the array of values, and if that's true, we're gonna add 0.33 to the percent. So let's do that. We'll say new value, and we're gonna go with a for each over it. We'll name the value received through the closure val. So we'll say if it's true, then our status will update with 0.33. And I guess this is it. Let's test it. If we check the first one, we should have the first bullet black, and we do, the second one and the third one. If we uncheck them, they are all grayed out. So it seems this works pretty well. And I said I have two features. Sometimes maybe we want the user not to be distracted, for example by this home button. Now in iOS 16, in the new version of SwiftUI, we can hide this by using a modifier. You will see this will be very simple to do. We can go down here and we'll say persistent system overlays, and we'll give it the value hidden. Remember that this is a suggestion to the system. The system will decide if this configuration is applied or not. So let's check it out. And as you can see, the button from the bottom, the line, the home button, disappeared. So this was a long video again, but I hope you enjoyed it, you learned something from it. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like button. This will help me a lot with reaching other people. And if you're not subscribed and you want to receive more news from my side, consider to hit the subscribe button and also the bell to be notified whenever I post a video. Until the next time, I wish you all the best and happy coding!